Hey everybody, what is going on? I am Maximus Rex and this is Big Baby Reviews. Today's Wildcard Sunday where we look at things a little bit off the beaten path from our regularly scheduled videos during the week. Today I'm going to be continuing my review of the Wolverine Revenge first arc drawn by Greg Capullo. So I fell off of this one for a little bit. I already reviewed issues 1, 2, and 3, but then we moved and a lot of things were going on, so I kind of forgot about it. So I've rectified that. I ordered issue 4 and 5, so today we're going to be doing issue number 4, and next Sunday we're going to be doing issue number 5, which I'm pretty sure is the complete kind of run that Capullo did on Wolverine Revenge. So pretty cool cover. Lots of moody shadowing, great Capullo artwork, kind of a mystery there where, as opposed to last issue, he's got some beard going on there. It seems pretty light, so we can assume that maybe this is later on and Wolverine's a bit older. At least that's what it seems like with the storyline. Enough about the cover. Let's have a look inside. So 20 years later, boom. So kind of an old man Logan thing, but this is probably a different timeline than the one we're familiar with from the Steve McNiven, Mark Millar Old Man Logan that was first introduced. So got kind of a Clint Eastwood vibe here. And once again, great art from Capullo, but I'm going to give kudos to the colorist. Once we get to the credits, I'll mention it because I really think they're doing a really good job here. With fairly flat colors overall and just some lighting effects here and there. Very subdued and a very tasty use of computer coloring, I think, on this series, as opposed to a lot of stuff that I see in other comics in the modern day. So Wolverine walks up to the saloon. So this, the future has kind of an old-timey Western vibe to it, right? And a bunch of characters here. Now, this guy, is wearing Captain America's garb, but I don't think that is Captain America. This guy looks like Bucky, but I don't think he is Bucky. Maybe he's Giant Man. I don't know, right? There's a lot of stuff that's kind of introduced visually that's not necessarily explained, so who knows? And look how distinctive all these faces are. Capullo's a master at that. In the Kirby review, I was talking about how, it's always nice in a scene with multiple characters to have them standing differently, different positions, doing different things. There's another example here, right? Obviously, a few of the characters are going to be raising their glasses, but they're all mostly in different positions. What I do find funny, though, is a lot of them are left-handed. I don't know if that's on purpose or that's just a compositional thing. I am left-handed, and that's maybe why I notice it. But, most people are probably right-handed. And in this shot here, I feel like only 2 people are. Everyone else is left-handed. Maybe that's something. I don't know. This is kind of a funny one, right? This cowboy back here who looks like Ultron. That's kind of odd. And so Wolverine is here to meet someone. So off he goes upstairs. And who he meets is Forge. And Forge doesn't look like he's aged much. So I don't know exactly, what this future timeline is like. Are we meant to be asking all these questions? Is the writer on purpose, leaving stuff open to our imagination or leaving it open for us to ask questions? I guess he is. Maybe all will be revealed later in the issue or maybe in issue 5. So basically in the future where things went to shit and Forge kind of reconstructed slowly this town here and rebuilding civilization, I guess, with Wolverine's help. That's what I get from it. Could be wrong. So writer Jonathan Hickman, penciler Greg Capullo, inker Tim Townsend, and the colorist Alex Sinclair. I'm surprised because Alex Sinclair, I've seen color other stuff where I'm like, yeah, he's doing too much and I don't really like it, but I feel like he's doing a really good job here. This is where also the colors kind of stood out to me. Like, the storytelling is great from Capullo, right? And the colors just come and second what he's doing and help out. We're clearly in the desert here. There's an overall kind of yellow tinge to everything because of the kind of stark sunlight that you would get in the desert that I think works really well all throughout this page here. Small detail, Wolverine's costume has changed a little bit, so the parts that were blue are now red. I don't know if that's meant to indicate that it's faded somehow or that, he's just got a modified costume. I'm not quite sure why or what they're going for there, but it's an interesting look for sure. And the fact that he still has his beard underneath the costume is kind of funny, but works for me. I'm okay with it. So reintroducing Sabretooth now in the future, and what we've basically been able to surmise from the storyline, what he's saying is that Wolverine comes in and visits Sabretooth once a year, just like Sabretooth used to do to him, and cause havoc on his birthday. So here it seems like Wolverine comes to see Sabretooth once a year to cut a piece of him off here. and torture him in that way, in the way that Sabretooth used to torture him. And he's got that same beam that he neutralized Sabretooth's powers with from the motorcycle, using again just to be safe, to make sure that those powers aren't coming back, right? So Sabretooth in this sequence basically egging him on to actually just finish the job and kill him, right? But Wolverine's not interested in that. He wants to keep torturing Sabretooth just like he used to do to him. I thought this was an interesting kind of, you'll have those shots where, there's no panel line on the outside, and he just threw in like the floorboard, I guess, of the ground here. Just it's an interesting thing. I think it works well. Would it have worked just as well without it and just the negative space? Probably, but yeah, there's some kind of different and interesting about that. Listen, I'm not going to comment negatively in any way on Greg Capullo's skills. Clearly an amazing storyteller, amazing artist, and I don't know that I could find something to criticize on that side of things in this comic here. I mean, it's a pretty fun issue overall. What's revealed here is that Sabretooth somehow has actually been able to clone Omega Red, so they're considered kind of Omega Red sons here. Later on, they'll be introduced as Omega Red, Omega Black, and Omega White. And there's another character looking in the background here, resembles Colossus a lot, so you got to think with the storyline from prior issues that, Wolverine having killed Omega Red and having killed Colossus, these characters are obviously here for, as the title of the miniseries or the story arc implies, revenge, and they're going to be going after Wolverine. Who this is exactly, we haven't found out yet, and could be a swerve, but we'll see by the end of the issue who that is. As Wolverine's traveling through the wilderness, the Omegas, the three Omegas, catch up to him, and a battle ensues. Interesting here that they all kind of give off, kind of sickly effects. If you remember, Omega Red's powers kind of made people feel sick and nauseous and stuff. So here, what we're going to see the effects on Wolverine, but obviously he has his healing power, and they don't understand exactly why what they're doing to them doesn't kill him, right? They don't quite understand, I guess, that he's got a healing factor. So Wolverine's going to survive all this, but visually, I think it was a lot of fun to show here, for example, all these kind of blisters and boils kind of bubbling up on Wolverine's skin here. That's a pretty gross one. A shot like this, like the foreshortening on Wolverine here, again, Greg Capullo, master. It's a hard angle to draw someone from, and it just looks really good and does it masterfully here. Thought this shot was pretty cool. Once Omega Black here penetrates through, it seems, Wolverine's stomach, he just instantly starts vomiting. Blarf. I thought that was pretty cool. Still got some of the boils left from the other Omega. And, he just doesn't understand. He says, I'm pumping 6 different toxins and hundreds of thousands of bacteria into you right now. Why won't you die? And Wolverine, I guess by this point, can be smug about it because he knows how the healing factor works, right? But you're going to die first, is Wolverine's conclusion. Faces off against Omega Red. Obviously, he's going to get the better of him as well. I guess at this point, Wolverine must be like 200 years old. In continuity, so he's gotten pretty good. He's pretty strategic, pretty smart fighter, I guess, when you got 200 years of experience and your body is not breaking down on you. I mean, you want, in a series like Wolverine Revenge, you want this kind of sequence, right? You want Wolverine being a badass, and this whole fight sequence really pays off and is really satisfying visually and even in the story, and the dialogue and stuff. Just really, really well-paced comic, I think. There we go. Wolverine stands triumphant, and we just get one last scene of Sabretooth talking with that last gentleman that was that stayed behind with him, and it's revealed here. I'm going to assume, because he says, while your father lies buried in the ground, referring obviously to Colossus, I have to assume that's Colossus's, is that how you say it? Colossus's son? His costume definitely harkens back to Colossus's, it's tough to say, costume. So I guess we're going to find out next issue where that's going to lead. That's pretty interesting. I don't know who drew that. I kind of like it. Is that Lionel Yu? Could be mistaken. I don't see a signature. So yeah, we'll see you guys again for Wolverine issue 5 on next Sunday. Wolverine Revenge issue 5. If, guys, you are still watching and you are subscribed, thank you so much. I really do appreciate all your support. If you're watching but you're not subscribed, please like and subscribe below. It only takes a quick second for you. Really helps the channel out, helps us grow, and helps get us out there to other people who are into comic books just like we are. So thanks again for watching, everybody out there, and have yourselves an awesome day.
Like! Subscribe!
King Comics presents Big Baby, Volume 1, Issues 1 to 13, 204 pages of story and art. King Comics also presents Star Crasher one-shot, 32 pages, cosmic sci-fi surrealist adventure. You can find these fine comics at KingComics.CA, at MaximusRex13 on Instagram, or on Facebook, MaxRex or Big Baby.